Hello, hello. Scared you. So last trading day of the year. I think we did pretty good. I know I did. I hope you guys did too. Uh, let me remove this. I I walked up to the computer 5:30 or so this morning. We were up at the top near here, and I was already looking forward to having closed these trades, which missed my target by about 3 pips. And so when I got up and I saw we were back to my entries, I was kind of bummed. But about 5 minutes later, I was back. And so I took my targets. I just closed the trades manually. Those were the overnight trades that I mentioned in the chat room. And so this morning, I noticed where we were. I started playing down here. It's 5 after 8. It looks like we've reached maximum crowd capacity for today. So I'll go back and get started. And so just to review really quickly, last day of the year, finish with with fireworks. I just want to finish with a big bang. I have 50 open trades. Each one is 2 micro lots. So I have one full lot spread out between these 3 piles here, right? And then I'm just looking for lower lows. So now that I've said that, let's go and review the actual process, right? So if we check the calendar, there was news scheduled. And so that created this little move here. Now that the news is out of the way, we can go and check the calendar. Sorry, check the daily chart. On our daily chart, we want to see today compared to yesterday. Just a few minutes ago, we made the low, and hours ago, the high was put in, right? So as we speak, it's testing towards the high, but yesterday is a much, much, much higher high, right? So this looks bearish to me. And I think we're just trying to find resistance. We're finding an excuse to go back down, right? So I'm going to go into a 1 hour chart and see if I can find that excuse, right? So on the 1 hour chart, I'm thinking it's not going to the moon. It's trying to find resistance. And sure enough, it looks like we may have found what we were looking for, right? So if it's not going to the moon, it may have actually reached its target or it's in the neighborhood, right? So like take your tape measure out and measure what we've done. We're within our 3/4 boxes. So you want to start selling this, right? And so as a seller, you want to figure out where your action points will be. So you go down to your 5 minute chart and you start highlighting the important levels, right? And so around here, you want to draw support where you see it. You want to draw resistance when you see it. Support does become resistance, so it's vice versa. It works both ways, right? So it's almost a liberal art, right? Whatever you see fit, like something like this here, where we have 2 tops, we have the inside swing, we have this structure here, right? That looks like an important level. And so why not make that an important level? We may never visit, but we may at some point, right? So I'm just drawing this ladder with my mind's eye, right? And then if you do this enough times, over time, you'll realize the average of these lines is about 9 pips, right? Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 12, sometimes it's 11, but the average should be around 9. And so we have this ladder. We're going to be going up and down the ladder. And so it gives us this, assessment. Every time you get to one of these lines, you ask yourself, what am I supposed to do? What am I planning on doing here? right? So you're not just a deer in the headlights. You actually have a plan of action. And then when we get to these levels, you execute your plan, right? You're not just, what am I supposed to do? Right. So we've created the ladder. We have our expectations from the top going down. And now, because I kind of started trading before the morning session, I have these built positions, right? I have a position already built, but with you guys, I'll start trading right now, right? So assuming we're here at 8 o'clock, which we are, and we look at the chart, we are near the low of the day, and we seem to be making lower lows, lower highs, right? Lower highs, lower lows. And so with that in mind, I want to be selling resistance, right? And I want to be selling resistance with a 2 pip target, and I want to be doing it inside my box. Where's my box? Here. We'll have to double check the size. Apparently, I changed the size when I moved the box. 60 by 9. Okay, good enough. And so I'll put that on the highest swing right there. And so now this is a standard amount of movement. It's a unit of measure. I'm just looking to see if the price will stay in this box, as it should, right? If it's a range, it should stay range. If it breaks the range, it's going into the next range, which is also 9 pips, right? So it's a range upon a range upon a range upon a range. We're just trying to figure out which way is upon. Is it on top or is it below? Right. So this is where the top-down analysis comes into play. Right. You do this top-down, it gives you a guideline, it sets up the probabilities, and you just trade those probabilities. Right. So I put a big load on my book here, this huge position. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right. It is a demo account. This is just for education purposes. So if you want to finish the year with a bang, go for it. You don't have to do this. All right. It's just for fun. I had a really good year. I had losses throughout. I had good days, bad days. Overall, I had successful weeks, successful months, and I earned a living. So yeah, I'm quite content. Yeah, the losses are managed. I think that was like a few years back, that was the biggest aha moment. The losses are unavoidable. We just have to learn to first accept and then manage, i.e., deal. How do you reduce it, make it less painful? Once I started learning how to fix bad trades instead of just letting them happen to me, everything changed. The whole game changed. And that required me taking my 1% per box and breaking it up so that I could fix pieces of the 1% with pieces of the 1%. So yeah, it's taking a step back and appreciating the granularity. It's really, really small. You know, I'm 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 not chasing the money anymore. Well, today I am because I'm, structuring things for fireworks, but I'm really not on a daily average. I'm just doing my daily average work, right? It's not chasing records anymore, which it used to be. It used to be relying on one trade for that one outcome all the time. And I was getting upset when the outcome wasn't what I was looking for. In this methodology here, I spend the same amount of risk under my purview, right? So I do it where I choose to do it, and I control the risk. I spread it when I see fit. And over time, I get to recycle that risk more so than ever before. And so the recycling makes me money. The management allows me to keep that money. And management also means, stopping trading, walking away every day with your profits. That is in and of itself a skill. It's discipline. It took me forever. It's difficult to not jump the gun. We get drawn in. We see something awesome, you jump the gun, you take the trade, and then you realize 2 bars into it, it was a trap. And so we're told to wait for confirmation, but by the time you wait for confirmation, you've given back or you've missed half the trade. And so why not do the best of both worlds, right? Come up with a probability and then manage that probability. And so that's what we're learning to do here through the boxes, right? So we know our probabilities are within these boxes. So yeah, in reality, if this was a real money account and I was really wanting to keep my years of gains and not risk everything on the last day, there's no way I'd be putting that many trades on. I'd be putting 1% per box like I always do, instead of putting, I think this is 3 or 4% per box. Right. So yeah, it's just, today's just for fun, right? It'll make for a fun video if it works. So we're coming up to the the bottom of the hour, which is when we would expect our pullback, right? According to our circadian, nature, we're looking for something to come about on purpose as per the schedule. And so right around here would suffice that expectation, right? And if it breaks through this, my whole fireworks business is out of business. We'll see what happens, right? The scheduling is such that it's the most illiquid day of the day, right? The last day of the year, who's here trading? Only those of us, hardcore retail traders. And we're in the range. We've been range bound pretty much for 16 hours. We know the floor, we know the ceiling. I built a position in order to go and test the ceiling. And I'm positioned in such a way that I expect the ceiling to hold. And I would suspect the floor to break next. Right. So I built this ladder, and according to the ladder, I have opportunities along the way, either way. Except for me right now, I'm positioned for one particular outcome. Right. So yeah, the the flexibility is yours to exploit, right? It's discretion, but it's not random. You're not throwing darts and hoping to hit something. You do have to have a plan and, just execute the plan. I'm just executing my plan with a bigger percentage than I normally would. I'm trading as though nobody's watching me. Right. So here I am in box number 4. I'll load up box number 4. One last one. There we go. So I just took off all the targets. I brought my my average price to between boxes 2 and 3 because I've loaded all 4 boxes more or less with the same amount of money. And so my average is in the middle of the 4 boxes. And so now in order for me to make any money on this big contraption here, the market has to drop about 13 pips. If the market continues up 8 or 9 pips, I start to lose trades from boxes number 1, 2, and 3, and so on. Right. So the stop losses are staggered because the entries are staggered. Right. So at this point here, it's basically everything's on the line. It works or it doesn't. I've structured things so that it's 9 pips wrong versus 27, 20 pips in my favor. Okay, so let's see how this works out over the next few minutes. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the session, today is the last UK fix of the year, and so it becomes a benchmark for a lot of the neutral funds, neutral Forex funds, right? So anybody that's trying to follow the neutrality, right, they'll be benchmarked on today's fix. And so we have to be watching what happens in the next 30 minutes or so. And then fun, this is the stuff we take note of, right? These once per year event, it's going to happen again next year. This circadian event will happen again next year, right? It may not be on a Friday. It may not be it could be on a Tuesday, but it's still the last day of the year. And so the behavior will be there. And that's the stuff I take note of in my journal. And, I keep track of this stuff. All right, so let's see what happens near the high here. We have made a higher low, right? And we have made a lower high. And so what are we into? To me, that looks something like this. Right? And I've positioned myself to make my money this way. Right? So now I'm just sitting here waiting to see what will happen next. And I'm exploiting the circadian nature of the market to go through this behavior, right? To exploit this market behavior. It's expected to work in one particular fashion, right? It's just a probability. It's not a certainty. And so if it does go bad, I do have to start losing, right? That's the quickest way of dealing with it, right? But I don't want to lose everything. And so things are staggered, right? Things are stacked in such a way that I can still come back from the disaster that's unfolding. Okay, so now that I've positioned everything throughout the 4 boxes, let's play for 2 pips. All right, I'm selling resistance. I built a position, and much like yesterday, on the way up, we were selling and selling on the way up. And then right after we finished our live session together, the market just dropped like a stone and we made our money on the next leg. And that's exactly what we did here. I built a position on the way up, and now I'm expecting to make my money on the next leg. I'm preparing myself to eject if I have to and continue to fix my problem, right? The ejection seat is there for a reason. And it's this commitment that I made to myself. Remember, I rose my personal standards and I said I cannot lose more than 36 pips ever again. But I never said how many trades in a row I would lose at 36 pips. Right. So it's kind of like shortcut. So here we are. We've already closed one profitable trade as a group. Let's see if we can do some more. All right, so if we go up into that resistance area here where my little purple line is, I'll take another trade up in here. There we go, just like that. Okay, so now I'm expecting 3 pips, 3 pips, 3 pips. The target for this is over here, right there. I'll take another one. All right, I'm usually allowed 4 trades per box. All right, so I built this huge I built a huge swing position. And at the same time, right now, we're going to be trading for 3 pips, 3 pips, 3 pips. Right, so I built a swing position without you, and here I am trading the strategy with you guys. We'll see what happens in this top end here, Pierre. We should have a poll and see which way we think it's going to break. Who says it's going to break up and who says it's going to break down? It's the question we ask ourselves over and over and over, right? And if we use this ladder, this thing here, as you approach these levels and you ask yourself those questions, the answer becomes clear through the facts, right? So it's not it's fact driven. You're just looking for these facts. You're trying to gather this information and act accordingly. The probabilities are there to be taken advantage of, but not forecasted, right? And so it's an assessment. You assess the probability, you don't forecast the probability. And so it's a fluid thing, right? It's always moving, it's always changing, and there's a shift at some point that takes it from one side to the other side. And if you miss that shift, if you disagree with it, that's where the fight begins, right? So that transition from bullish to bearish happens over time. It's not instantaneous, and that's where we get caught. Our boxes allow us to see through that transition, right? They allow us to see an uptrend versus a sideways market, right? Sideways boxes versus boxes on top of each other. Right? That's the only two things the market can do. Right? The market can only go sideways like it's doing here, or it can go through the boxes like it's doing here. And so this box business lets you see which is which, right? And then whichever box you're in, whichever behavior is taking place in that box, you exploit it. And then if you're at one of the end boxes, you know something's afoot, something's coming up. If you're in the middle boxes, that's usually where you'll find your break even, right? So it's just this rinse and wash and repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. And then over time, the same behavior becomes, I hate to say it, but it's almost predictable, right? So this probability is repeating itself. And so you now know where to put your money, right? So yeah, it's practice, 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 the same kick 10,000 times. I'm hoping I'm right. You know, there is a sliver of hope here, but it's based on facts and, real science, real numbers, right? I'm not trading because my astrology told me to sell. And so nothing against astrology. It's just not my kind of assessments. Right. So let's see what happens here. And then understanding what we're going into, who we're dealing with, time of year, the behavior that we're expecting, all of that stuff, right? This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the system either works or it teaches you how to fix problems, right? That's the alternative. It makes you money or it allows you the discretion to fix. Right, so here we are at the bottom of the hour. 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. We're well within our wedge, or well within our triangle. And I'm positioned for something like this. Yeah, smaller crowd today. There's only 10 of us here. It must be a holiday. It's all in the timing. It's all in the expectations, sizing down our expectations. Yeah, let's see. The measuring cup, because our box is the same, it's a constant. Our behavior revolves around the constant. And because we're driven now by the box to add to our winners or to be at least inquisitive about what's happening if we run out of time, it tells you something. It forces you to do the same thing over and over and over and over, which prior to using the box is left to your discipline. And I think with the box, discipline is easier to achieve. Like it's in front of you. You have to execute, right? So discipline is one thing, getting off the couch, but once you're off the couch, what do you do? Right? So this tells you the box gets you off the couch and now you have something to do. There is a job. You add to your winners or you close your losers or you do something. Okay, so up here we're just now in the waiting game, right? We've reached the bottom of the hour. This pullback slash bull or bear pullback according to the schedule uh, should be just about finished. Let's see. I could be totally wrong. And that thing just flies to the moon. That's the fun part, right? The illiquid market. Uh, we need to see the proof. We need to see the facts. We need to react. And if anything, take the holiday, take a day off. If you're not comfortable in this environment, if you don't like this stuff, um, I mean, this type of uncertainty, today's no different. Today is just a little bit more illiquid, right? So the size of the bars, right, and the whipsawing, the back and forth, all that stuff is what destroys people. And this is where, if you can, try to avoid it. And this is exactly why I really don't care for the demo account and I'm putting it all on the line, right? It's just for show. This is all fireworks. Today is not a day to be trying to make up for yesterday or make up for the year. Okay, so it's just testing assumptions. Right? That's all I'm trying to do. The next fix, the next UK fix, which comes in 30 minutes or so, uh, will tell the tale, right? We will know what's happening to our daily candle right here. Right. So I'm I built a position as it's moving up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And I'm expecting a red finish to the day. Right. So as it's pushed up against me, right? Remember at the beginning, we saw the lower high, we saw the lower low. We're expecting a bearish day, just slightly bigger than what it is. And so I'm selling on the way up. Right. And then as such, on the 1 hour chart, we drew our floor, we drew our ceiling. We are now testing the ceiling that we drew 35 minutes ago. And we're also testing this. Right? If that breaks, where can it go? Well, let's take a look. It's Fibonacci right here to there. We are right now 38%. If it breaks, maybe we can make it to 1090. Right? That's a possibility. If it goes to 1090, what will happen to my boxes? Well, I will lose my first layer. Right? So we're setting expectancy. We're just looking forward to the next move. We're not trying to become millionaires in one trade, but we are trading what we see for the next move. Right? So we understand the ability for the market right now to go to the moon is very limited, right? It's stuck in this formation and within that resistance and all that good stuff. Right? So we're really looking for a move lower, and it would be consistent with what we have here, right? And so if this is a flagpole, so to speak, right here, actually, let's take it here. That would take us to 1010, right back to where we came from. I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so we have an expectancy, we have a relationship with the price. We know where we are relative to the bigger picture, and we know ideally what the bigger picture is trying to do, right? It's trying to go lower. And so our job is to build a position to take advantage of that bigger picture, which is trying to go lower, right? So that's what we did, or that's what I did in the last hour and a half. And now with you guys, we're making 3 pips, 3 pips, 3 pips. A couple of trades here. So back to our 5 minute chart. Right? So same formation, more detail, right? More granularity. We're well trapped within the triangle, right? We have the ladder below us. We know we're coming from higher highs, and we're making lower lows. Right? So time will tell what's happening, but probabilities tell us one thing is more likely than the other. And so that's where I put my money. The fix is still the dilemma, right? It's still something that it's unscheduled, like it's there, but it's not on the calendar. It's there every day, and it's not on the calendar. And so we know it's flow driven, and the flow changes based on their requirements. And we don't know what their requirements are for today, the benchmark. I would assume it would make sense to me that a nice round number, like 1.0 or even 1.1 somewhere down here. Anything can happen. Anything. They have a bigger plan in mind for sure. So zoom in there. If you're playing along, you want to be selling right around here. Right? If you're in your box number one up at the top there, that would be a good place to put 4 or 5 clicks. And then repeat, repeat, repeat as they recycle, right? If they don't recycle, you're in drawdown. And then the last day of the year, you probably don't want to be holding on to drawdown, right? You probably want to go flat. Speaking of the last day, I won't be back until the 2nd of January, right? So I'm taking the 1st off, but I will be here on the 2nd. Anxiety, stress, all that, that bad stuff. That's kind of what I put on my New Year's resolution. I work on myself, try to reduce over trading, try to be more patient with myself, uh, and also with my strategy, my system. I reviewing some of my work, I tend to jump the gun. I tend to start early. I tend to not work late because I choose to, but I'm right now I have to. But uh, a lot of my New Year's resolution revolves around fixing me, and it's all of this, looking inward, uh, spiritual. So yeah, it's trading is changing people. It's not just changing the lifestyle, like it's changing your lifestyle. It's a moral lifestyle, right? A lot of people feel threatened in a situation like this. At the very, very top, when it's about to break out, the pins and the needles, like the butterflies in your stomach, especially if you have open trades. And so it's, uh, tamping down the nerves. It is. I still feel it. I'm anxious to see what happens here. It's not life and death. It's just numbers on the screen. Right. Formation, the top right here is what will have people on edge. Right. Anyone trying to play breakouts, which is usually the first trick in your bag of tricks. Uh, a breakout like this looks awesome, but it's a low probability. Right. A bounce is a higher probability, and I guess that's what we train for. I will sell it to the person who thinks it's going higher. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I should be buying it. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. You know, just for measuring this right here, we've done 32 pips. All right, so we're a little bigger than 3 boxes and less than 4 boxes. And so it's a normal size move. And what happens inside of a normal move? We have a normal pullback, a normal retracement, a normal event. And so there's no stress with normalcy. It's when things are abnormal, I begin to, my stress begins. There we go. Recycling some trades. Right? If I can see green, I'll take a couple more. Go. Oh, I missed it. Okay, so let's see if we can repeat that. If it goes back up, another green candle, I'll sell it again. So far as a group, one, two, three, four, five, six or seven trades already. Because I took off all the targets, right? I took off all the targets. I built a long position on the way up. I built shorts from the very, very bottom all the way up. And I did this before the live session. And none of these trades have a target. Now, during the live session, I'm trading for 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips in front of you guys. These trades all have a target. And if you're following me, your trades will have a target too. Right. So what I did before the live session is really not uh, part of the strategy. I built a whole bunch of swing positions. I'm trying to finish the year with fireworks, big bang. Right. The work I do from 8 o'clock to about lunchtime, New York, it's all 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips. Show and tell. It's all show and tell. All right. So if you're trading through the boxes right here, you should be still in box number one, right? Box number one moved. And so now you're just recycling your trades. On the way back down, you keep reopening the same 4 clicks over and over and over and over. Yeah, everything I do is manual. Go. 2 more wins. Couple more. Be nice. Green candle. If we can find resistance somewhere around here, we'll sell into that. Go. Now we're in going into box number two if we get there. All right, so if you're trading with the boxes, you're now in box number two and you're building your second position. Right there. Okay, now I'm gonna slow down and just let it play out. All right, so we've built two boxes of trades up at the top, and we just have to see what happens next. If you have money left, if you do have some clicks remaining, you could spend them near the top of the box. Right? This is where the anxiety starts to build. Because of that little move that we just had, we've relieved some of the pressure, right? We've removed some of the 36 pips that we built. And so now we've taken back what, 15. What if we take back those same 15 and more, right? So what if it keeps on pushing? And so that's the liability we have, right? We have to double check this kind of stuff and be ready to execute. For us, we have the ejection seat and we have a system to continue, right? So, right. I'm just curious to see how much pain we're going to get on the last day of the year. Hmm. I should be more excited than this. Right? I just want to recycle my trades if I can. So we're running up draw. We are $70 in up draw, which is no the opposite of drawdown. And so a green candle here will allow me to sell right there. If I can see it. Oop, I saw green. You can't tell me I didn't see it. There it is. There it is. 3, 4. So I have my 4 clicks. There we go. And so having moved a box, and now having moved another box, so we're 2 boxes, 3 boxes from the top. Right, we have to see it like what's happening, right? This is 2.5 boxes already. It can go back and try the edge again, right? It can go back and try the edge of the triangle. Right, so that's the kind of stuff we're on the lookout for, and you're always on the ready. You're always deciding what your next move is because the market's got a next move, right? The next move is what we are playing for. I built a short position on the way up so that I can exploit this move right here, right now. What's happening now is what I was looking for an hour and a half ago when I started shorting from the bottom. Right. So yeah, the flexibility is for us to anticipate what's coming next because we have a pretty good idea of what's happening right now. This move right here, right now, is not going to the South Pole, right? It might be breaking the triangle, but it is not going to the South Pole today. And so our goal is to happen to see what happens next and then find out what happens after that, right? What's its next destination? And how do we do that? We add boxes, right? And so now we know 2 or 3 boxes in the future is usually good enough, right? And then 2 or 3 boxes on top of that, 2 or 3 boxes on top of that. It's this measuring tape that keeps you in the neighborhood. And once you're in the neighborhood, you kind of have an idea of where you are, what to do, right? You remove the boxes and all of a sudden you take away the clarity, right? So let's see if I can recycle some more trades here. Oh, there we go. Oh, green candle. One. 2024 looks to be very volatile too. Just uh, if you go into the weekly chart on the dollar index and you look at the way the dollar index is closing the year, and we're at very critical levels, and so therefore we should come off of those levels, and so we should start the year with some decent volatility. All right, so let's recreate a box and move it down here. Oops, I got 2 of them there. So if I see a green candle, I'll sell it. Like that. And so how much have we moved off the high now? Oh, I'm missing a box, sorry. So we have moved one. Let's fix this one. 2, 3, and we're about ready to go into box number 4 from the high, right? 1, 2, 3, and we're getting ready to go in box number 4. Okay, so if you have money to spend here, now would be a good place to spend it. And we're approaching the UK fix. In about 5 minutes. 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock GMT. Okay, so mysteriously enough, we've made it from one side of the triangle almost to the other side. And here we are now at support. It's our job to see if support will hold or not. A couple more minutes. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, so let's recycle some of these babies. Right on the edge of the triangle, right at the top of the hour. What do they have in mind for us? Talk about pain on the last day of the year. I'm not trying to be funny. It's just, it's for the unexpected, that this is a disastrous. There you go. UK fix has begun. Right? We've broken the triangle. Let's see where we're going next. We have $200 of draw up or up draw. If I can see a green candle, I'll sell. Oh, there we go. Just put my 4 clicks that belong in that box because everything else is closed. I think I mentioned yesterday in the chat, just before my bedtime, I was looking at, sorry, I was looking, let's see if I can find that post. Where did I put it? My target that I posted yesterday, 98.10, 98.10. So if we get to 10.10, 98.10 will be the next target. 98.10. All right, so let's draw that on here. 10.10 is our first target, and then 98.10 will be our second target. I doubt we'll get to 98.10 today. All right, come on. Lighting the fuse on the fireworks. I think I'm free for the next hour. Let's double check this. Make sure I don't have to let you go. Oh no, I'm supposed to be meeting with someone. Uh, Shit. Okay, well, I'm gonna let you guys go and hold on to your trades. Don't touch your stop losses. Continue to sell resistance. Happy New Year to you guys. Happy New Year to everybody. And I will definitely be seeing you, in the new year for more of this. Between now and the new year, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? And please go like the videos, all that good stuff. I'm uploading all the recordings. I've been dumping them onto YouTube. I'm like 2 or 3 or 4 per day. And so I'm going to go through all of the recordings and probably have everything up and running so that I can do these live sessions on YouTube in January. All right, so sell resistance, and I'll see you in the new year. Enjoy.